Good morning everybody, welcome back to the allotment. Saturday the 25th of November today, so a month till Christmas, not quite Christmas yet. As you can see, a frosty start this morning. We had a weather warning for ice last night and I haven't actually found any problems with ice, but it's certainly we've had quite a heavy frost, but it's already starting to defrost. The ground is getting quite soggy again, so just quite a while since my last, about 5 or 6 weeks since I last recorded an update, so this probably won't be very long. As you can see, quite a lot of digging has been happening, so here and round the corner where the pumpkins and squash and courgettes and things were, so that's all done. I've just got really the end bit to do. I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute when we get up there, but broad beans are in. I've got 6 rows, pretty good germination, as you can probably see. A few gaps here and there, but I'll fill those in probably in the spring now. Probably won't bother doing much before them. Hopefully these aren't going to get much bigger now. As you can see, they don't mind the frost. They'll recover quite well, even though they're looking a little bit sad and droopy at the moment, but they should be fine, and hopefully we'll get a good crop from them come sort of early June, late May, early June, depending on what the weather's like. The weather's been a bit giving me a few problems actually, because it's been quite mild, although we've had a few frosts. They've been few and far between, and I don't know whether you can see, if I show you this one, where's the zoom? So long since I've recorded a video, I've forgotten where the zoom is. I don't know whether you can see in the centre of the frame there, if this is going to focus. Come on, focus. Yeah, there we go. That is a head of broccoli, very small head of broccoli, and this is on one of the smaller plants. So if you've seen previous updates, you'll know that under this netting here there seems to be a gradation of plants from small at this end to quite large at this end. The large ones have actually had some fairly significant heads on, to the fact that I've had to pick them. As you can probably see, there's not one on there or on there, because they were just ready to pick. Now these aren't supposed to be ready until, well, May, early April at the absolute earliest, and that's what they did last year. They were ready around that time, but they've decided, obviously because it's been quite mild, that they are going to do their thing. So I've had to pick them. We had some very nice broccoli and Stilton soup as a result, but unfortunately they aren't going to provide us a crop in April, or at least not the main head. These do produce quite good side shoots normally during the sort of summer months, so I'll see what happens. I'm hoping that we'll still get some side shoots off of them, and we'll see. So next plan for this top part of the plot is to start digging over. As you can see, I've tarped part of it now. I normally do this more for the fact that if the ground gets wet, it stays quite wet and undiggable for quite a while. It doesn't dry out very quickly, so the tarp is there primarily to protect it from getting wet in the first place, but also if the ground is wet underneath, it allows it to drain without further water getting onto it and making it even soggier. So although I didn't do that up at the top end of the plot because just didn't need to, the weather's been, as I say, quite mild and hasn't been a problem. It has we've started to get more rain, so I've tarped that bit. Probably didn't need to, because I'll probably dig that today, and it won't make a great deal of difference. And then I'll slowly work my way along and do the rest of this top end. There's quite a lot of weeds up here because it's been it's been got to last basically, so the weeds have had more of a chance to grow. I've still got rainbow chard, kale, purple sprouting broccoli, so I'll be working my way around those. There's a few parsnips left here as well, so I'll be probably dig those and then dig the ground as I go, and just work around the other crops, and we'll see where we get to. An update on my apple tree. I don't know whether I mentioned this in my previous video or not, but basically what we did discover after a bit of research is that this apple tree it's called Cobra, so it's a mix of Cox and Bramley. It's a cross, and basically if you harvest early, so say September time, you get pretty much Bramley cookers. If you leave them on the tree, they're much more like a Cox, so come October time they're more of an eating apple. I think what I found is they don't keep terribly well in that early Bramley stage. It's because I picked them all at the same time, and I should have, in hindsight now, left them until, well, I should have just left them and then picked cookers as I needed them, and then stored what was eating apples. So I think next time I have a crop, which may not be this coming year, it might be the year after, because this tree tends to skip a year, that's what I'll do. I'll leave them on the tree until sort of October or whenever they're ready to be picked as eating apples. Pick them then and try and store them, because they're not storing very well as cookers, and I'm getting a lot of wastage just because they're going off or they're rotting. That said, we've had a lot of apple based meals, so at the end of the day it's not too much of a problem, but yeah, I think that's going to be the way to go in future. So that's a lesson learnt for this apple tree. I have still yet to do my fruit bed and clear that out as well. That's on the list to do, but at the moment I'm concentrating on the digging purely because in this weather it's difficult to kind of do fruit bushes and things, because you damage the plants too much because they're a bit frozen and not very supple. So I'll be leaving them until we get a sunny afternoon, and then I'll do them then. Onions and garlic doing well. I think they've got pretty much one or two spaces, but pretty much all germinated properly, and they'll just sit there quite happily now till the springtime when they're ready to be harvested. So that's about it. Cavolo Nero, we're just picking that. As you can see, it looks quite pretty, doesn't it? I think it looks really pretty when it's frosty, but yeah, we're just picking that as and when we need. As you can see, it ends up looking quite bizarre because you've got kind of bald stalks where you've picked, and then the new growth on the top. So we're getting quite a good crop off of this actually. It's doing well. It's not, doesn't seem to have produced as bigger leaves this year as previous years. Maybe it's because it's in a slightly smaller bit of the plot than it has been in the past, but yeah, that's about it, I think. So on this frosty Saturday morning, I shall wish you all the very best. Not sure whether I shall get another update in before Christmas or not, so if I don't, let me wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, assuming that you celebrate those sorts of things, or whatever you get up to over that time of the year. I hope you have a very nice time, restful time, peaceful time, and I will speak to you again in the next video, which may well not be until 2018, but we'll see. It just depends. At the moment, obviously not a lot to talk about and to show you, but hopefully we'll crack another one out before Christmas. If not, as I say, it'll be next year. So in the meantime, I hope wherever you are, you're having a good time. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon. Take care now. Bye bye.